Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we have here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live. So if you are joining us from Facebook and you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. Hopefully I'll be able to address any questions or comments that you might have as I go through the forecast, but if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. So let's get started here. What are we watching for our headlines? And I don't think it's a secret to anyone. It is a hot one out there, especially earlier today. We warmed all the way up into the mid 90s for our actual temperatures. Combine that with mid 70 dew points, and our feels like temperatures were well into the triple digits. So between 100 and 110 is what some locations were feeling like earlier this afternoon. Now, since the sun has gone down, we're losing a little bit of that heat, but it is still very, very warm out there, and we're going to stay warm overnight tonight. So there really isn't much relief, especially from that humidity, which is really kind of the driving factor of all the heat-related illnesses or just in general heat exhaustion. Most people don't enjoy the humidity. We can handle the heat, but when it's combined with that, it's never feeling too great. But we remain on alert here through Tuesday, and then it also looks like with high pressure in place near the region, we will stay mostly dry, but there is still an isolated chance for maybe an afternoon shower or a downpour if you're lucky, if we get through next week. So each day as we go through the day, there could be a relief from a downpour, but it's only going to be a short amount of time before all that, moisture gets evaporated back out into the atmosphere, and it doesn't really feel all that refreshing anymore. But that is pretty much going to be our only saving light here in terms of this heat, is if anyone gets a stray shower. But again, it looks like we're going to stay pretty dry through the next several days. And looking at our heat alerts, our heat advisory is in effect through Tuesday evening, at 7 p.m. But many areas across the entire United States, so pretty much the entire Great Lakes region, the Midwest, and into the Northeast are all under some sort of heat advisory or heat alert. So it's not just a tri-state dealing with it, it's a good chunk of the country. Now, looking at our highs, what we got to earlier today, right here in Evansville, we reached 94 degrees, same thing down towards Bowling Green, but all the way off to our west, that's where the heat is starting to build first and sliding its way in our direction through tomorrow and into the beginning of next week. Temperatures topped out at around 101 degrees there in Omaha. And that wasn't even factoring in the dew point for them. That was just their actual air temperature. But right now, looking at the temperatures across the region, they've cooled down a good bit. 86 now here in Evansville, and same thing down towards Bowling Green. 84 in Paducah, up towards Indianapolis, also sitting at around 84 degrees. So starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, but again, it doesn't feel great. This is why. Here's a look at our dew points. That dark green color means gross. 70-degree dew points are downright tropical, and that's when it just gets hard to breathe. It feels like the air that you can wear, all the horrible synonyms that you can think of. So that dew point kind of range isn't going anywhere through the next several days, which is why we have that heat advisory in effect for so long, and why we're looking at potentially, some serious heat-related illnesses because of that. But looking at our current feels like, it still feels like 94 degrees right now in Evansville, and it is 9:04 at night. So it is very, very warm, and this is what I mean. We're not going to get much relief overnight tonight. It is just going to stay hot even into the overnight hours. So looking at our Doppler radar, high pressure sitting just off to our east there. That is the reason we're seeing winds up out of the south. We're getting a lot of moisture and a lot of heat, and that's just going to kind of build underneath this area of high pressure. You may have heard the term heat dome being used a lot this week leading up to this heat wave. So that is essentially what is taking place there. But again, here in the tri-state, we are all dry. There was a stray shower just to the southeast of the tri-state that moved through Edmonson County there in Kentucky, but that's about the only chance we'll have each day. So just one singular shower, and if you're lucky, you'll be the one that gets it for some of that relief. But looking at our temperatures tonight, our actual temperatures will drop down into the mid-70s, but again, with dew points in in the 70s, it is still going to be very, very warm. We may even see some patchy areas of fog develop overnight tonight as well. Looking at our forecast for tomorrow, very similar to today. Mostly sunny skies, very, very warm, moist south wind. It feels like dog breath. And then temperatures warming all the way up into the mid-90s. So another day like today for tomorrow, and then again on Monday, and then again on Tuesday. But even though that heat advisory only stretches through Tuesday evening, we don't break out of the 90s at all through the next week. So for our next 7-day period, temperatures will be topping out in the low to mid 90s. It's just hopefully that humidity starts to back down a little bit towards the end of next week. And you can see that once we get through Wednesday, it does start to drop back down into just the muggy category as opposed to that stifling category, which is kind of where we're going to start to see a little bit more of a relief from that. So however, in the next couple of days, not so much. Looking at our heat index forecast, Sunday through Wednesday, tomorrow we'll top back out again in the triple digits. Same thing on Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. Now, typically, heat advisory criteria is between 105 and 108, or 110, excuse me. But we've seen, just any town that gets a breeze with a little bit more moisture in it, you can get those feels like temperatures to shoot all the way up. So that's why we have that heat advisory in effect. And now, talking about all this heat, we do want to recognize some of those heat-related illnesses, and being heat exhaustion and heat stroke, both of which are very serious and do have different symptoms that you want to consider. So let me go ahead and take this full screen. Heat exhaustion, typically you feel faint or dizzy, as opposed to heat stroke, where you actually develop a pretty severe throbbing headache. With heat exhaustion, you actually experience excessive heating, and subsequent, or conversely, heat stroke, you actually don't sweat at all. You're not really sweating, but your skin is very red, hot, and dry, as opposed to heat exhaustion, where it's cool, pale, and clammy. Nausea and vomiting are a common symptom between both. A rapid, weak pulse is what you can expect with heat exhaustion. A rapid, strong pulse is what you can expect with heat stroke. And again, you may get some muscle cramps with heat exhaustion, whereas you may lose consciousness entirely if you're experiencing heat stroke. So if you are experiencing heat stroke, call 911 immediately. You want to take immediate action to cool the person until help arrives. If you have heat exhaustion, you just want to get into a cool, air-conditioned place, drink plenty of water if you are fully conscious, and again, take a cool shower or use cool compresses. So again, you guys want to be looking out for one another, especially your more sensitive groups of people, young children, elderly, neighbors, or family members, making sure you're checking up on them, giving them a visit, making sure that their air conditioning is working properly and they have good water and ways to cool themselves down, so that no one can, fall ill because of this heat. Now, not only are we need to protecting ourselves as humans, but we also have pets to take care of as well. Some tips for pets in hot weather: you do want to provide clean, cool, fresh water constantly, especially if they're going to be outside. You want to make sure they have that cool, refreshing water and a place to kind of shade in or shelter under. So tree, doghouse, or not a doghouse, excuse me, some sort of shading, porch, trees, stuff like that. You also want to help cool them down by wetting their paws as well. That's where dogs can sweat, or that's where they experience a lot of that heat. And the pavement temperatures are also very, very warm, so you want to be making sure that their paw pads are also taken care of. You don't want to walk your dogs in the middle of the day, especially in the sun. If you are a daily dog walker or a daily walker yourself, you want to make sure you're actually rescheduling that for the morning hours or late at night. So when it's not peak heating of the day, you want to shave, or you don't want to shave long-haired dogs. You don't ever want to leave pets in a parked car, and you don't want to walk on pavement. Use the 5-second rule, and you don't want to rely on a fan to cool your animals down. Higher risk animals, again, short-nosed dogs, long-haired dogs, very young animals, or extremely old animals. So 7+ years or less than the age of 1 are most vulnerable for your pets. But outside of the heat here, we are still tracking out, again, very, very slight chances for maybe a daily downpour or a shower. It would be very, very isolated, and most people will stay dry through this entire time period. So That is what we're looking at here for the extended forecast, and I can just show you what that looks like on our European model. Again, as we get into the heating of the day tomorrow, maybe a spot shower. Looks like most of that stays off to our southeast. Monday afternoon into Monday evening, again, maybe a spot downpour or a thunderstorm. Same thing on Tuesday, and then again possible as we go through the end of the work week as well. So just hot, mostly dry, but hopefully someone gets a shower and gets some relief across the tri-state. So there's a look at your 7-day forecast. Hot, humid through the next several days, and even when that heat advisory ends, we're still going to be topping out in the low to mid 90s through the rest of next week. And checking out those low temperatures as well, only dropping down into the mid 70s. So very, very little relief even as we transition into nighttime. So that is all I have for the forecast. I'm going to go ahead and checking out some of the comments there. Tara Lewis says, wow. Yeah, I'm assuming that's for the heat that we have going on. Janet says, good evening. And Chris says, good evening. And he's ready for the scorching heat to back off now. Well, unfortunately, it's not going to back off for quite some time, but hopefully, you're staying cool yourself. You have a nice air-conditioned building or room that you can take frequent breaks in, and making sure you're drinking plenty of water, and we'll all get through this unscathed. It is, officially summer now, and this heat wave was very timely with that solstice being just last night and today being the first day of this heat wave. So that is all I've got for the forecast here. Again, remember, drink plenty of water, stay cool over the next several days, and again, check up on your more vulnerable folks, so elderly neighbors or family members, and especially young children. And don't forget about those pets, making sure that they have fresh, clean, cool water and a nice shady place to hide in as well. So that is all I've got here. I'm going to sign off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody stay safe and stay cool.